Welcome to the second part of the Dolomites. This morning I was in Lago di Misurina and it was okay this morning, not too bad, but it was too clear really for me, and also there was a little bit of wind on the lake and it ruined the reflection that could have been there. I got something, but by the time the sun had come up I was just relying on trying to do a long exposure, and for me it's faking it. It doesn't really look as I really wanted to. So I went back to where we were staying. I picked up my wife and we've come to this little picturesque valley here in the northern Dolomites. So as you can see behind me, or you might be able to see behind me, it's a nice watermill there. Absolutely beautiful, picturesque picture postcard. You just could not ask for more. If you thought of somewhere that just looked so beautiful and serene in the mountains, this is it. This is it up in the Dolomites. What's coming up next? Well, there's a few things coming up today. We'll see what gets filmed, but for the moment just enjoy what it is that I've managed to get here on this up near this watermill in the Dolomites. It's the end of the first day of the second part of our trip in the Dolomites. At the moment I'm stood on top of Paso, and sunset's just gone just over there, although the actual sunset's probably about in 10 minutes time or so, but the sun has gone down behind the mountain range over my left shoulder. I've got pretty much what I wanted up here, just to have a good look and see if it did work at sunset, just to see what there was, just to see if it's worth bringing people up this way for the end of the day. I think it pretty much is. There's enough to do up here, long lens, short lens, wide angle. There's so much to see when you're up here. There's so much to be able to do. I'm kind of thinking I'd love to wait until it goes dark to be able to get the light trails going down the road. But my wife is waiting in the car and I don't really want to keep her down there too long, as up here it is 0 degrees at the moment. So obviously as the sun goes down and down, it's going to get colder and colder, and you can probably hear in my voice it's breaking because of the cold, and I'm shaking a little bit as well from the cold. So that's probably it for the end of the first day. What's coming up tomorrow? I've got a few things in mind tomorrow, hopefully seeking out some more autumn colour, as well as a lake that's near to where we're staying, seeing how that works at dawn. I need there to be no wind. Hopefully, from the prediction that I saw earlier, there is no wind tomorrow morning apart from a very slight breeze. We shall see. So that's it for the first day. You'll keep watching, you'll see what comes up next. Welcome to the second day of the second part of our time in the Dolomites. I'm here on the shore side of Lago di Misurina, and as you can see behind me is absolutely gorgeous view back there. There's no cloud this morning, which is a little bit of a shame. There's just a tiny bit up in the sky, but I don't want to go so wide just to put that in. It's around -5 or so, which is why the camera's probably shaking, as although there's no wind, it is still just a little bit chilly out here. As also there's the altitude that I'm at as well, probably a good 1,500 meters above sea level at the moment. So as I said, you can see behind me there's Lago di Misurina. I'll just show you what it is that I'm up to and what else it is that I'm going to be doing this morning, as it's a very, very quick place to come to when the sun rises here. So I'll just show you what it is that I'm doing. Okay, so you can see the Lago di Misurina here. This here is the only bit of cloud that I have this morning, which is a little frustrating, but there's not much that I can do about it. As you can see, I've got my camera set up there. It's my usual Canon 6D, which I love doing in the morning or on evening shoots, just because of the dynamic range it's got. And just set up and put the hotel that's there right in the middle of the shot, put everything bolt right in the middle. That's basically how I want it this morning. It's a little frustrating. There's a tiny bit of wind that's coming up that's ruining the reflection just around here, but I've already got my shot anyway, and when I started, those little ripples in the water were not there. So that's what it is that I'm doing here. Now over in the corner over there is another photo around this place. So you basically look back up towards what is the Tre Cime, the three chimneys, or Tre Cime in German, I believe. So if you're German or Italian, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I believe that's how they're pronounced. So there you go, that's Lago di Misurina. Today has been one of those days when we've been driving aimlessly around, wondering if we're ever going to get anything to be able to take back home. Well, hopefully behind me you can see there's absolute magic going on in the sky. Utterly stunning sunset tonight. I wondered if this place would work or not for a sunset, and it absolutely does. I could not be happier. After many days of just clear skies and just, it feels like nothing. Although I've had some good images, I think this evening is probably the icing on the cake as far as imagery from the Dolomites. It is stunning, there's no other word for it. I think you're just going to have to wait to see the processed image when it appears after I've stopped yakking on, but I'll just give you a quick view with the camera. It's another early start here in the Dolomites. I got up around 5 o'clock this morning. I had about a 45-minute drive from where we're staying in Dolomites, and in front of me over there is one of the, well, many of the mountain ranges that are up here. It is obviously dawn. Dawn's in probably 15 minutes or so. Sunrise is going to be over there, and the panorama that I have here this morning is absolutely stunning. Where am I? Well, I'm actually up at the base of the Tre Cime, and the Tre Cime itself is just up there, and it probably takes about an hour or so to go around the path just to see what it is that you can get there. But as you can start to see over my shoulder, the panorama behind me is absolutely breathtaking. The mountains up here in the Dolomites are just something else. They really are. I would just love to have much more time to explore this, but this is our last day. So I thought I'd come up here just to see how dawn works. Is it a possibility for a dawn on a forthcoming workshop? So hopefully what I'm going to do will work and will give people enough inspiration to want to come out on a workshop and see the things that I'm seeing right now. So I'll just grab hold of the camera and give you that panorama that's over my shoulder. When you're faced with a scene like this, what is it you do when you have just this amazing panorama here? What is it that you can do? Well, the first thing people do is, some people anyway, they look and go, well, it's just wide angle. But is it all really wide angle? And no, it's not. I mean, I'm working at the moment around 70 millimeters, and what I'm concentrating on is this mountain range here. And I'm making one of little focal point of the lake down there, which is, I think it's Lago di Misurina. Down there, I think I can see the hotel down there. When I'm zooming in and cropping around here, where the mountain goes, where it drops down behind the mountain that's in front of me. So I'm just trying to frame it, so it's almost like if I just pull the camera over there, like that, there. And I'm doing that because I want things separated and I want things nice and neat in there. What else can you do up here? There's panoramas you can do. You don't have to go too wide. Sorry, it's a bit cold up here. I'm shivering just a little bit. So you don't have to go too wide doing things like this. I mean, for example, I've done a panorama from around sort of here to around here. And what I do is I basically have a frame in my bag that's set to around 17 by 16 centimeters, and it allows me to frame things up to try and work out what it is that I do when I'm looking at something like this. So lens-wise and camera-wise, you'll see it's my usual 6D body on there, and there's a 28 to 70 because I don't need a huge long lens. I could zoom in on some of the mountain ranges that's back there, because what's not really picking up at the moment on the GoPros is actually quite nice and pink. On the mountain here, you can just see what the Dolomites is famous for is when the light hits it, they just go red, which is beautiful in the morning. and also at sunset as well. So there you go, that kind of gives you an idea of what it is that you can do when you're up at this place. It's not just a one-trick pony. There's a few things you can do up around here. So that's the beginning of the day. What's coming up? There's a few other things coming up. A couple of wet weather things looking at today, some waterfalls, and then we're coming back up here to do the Tre Cime walk around 3 o'clock this afternoon, just to see what's going on. And said sorry for the shaky camera. It is probably about -5 and the wind is making it colder. But there you go, that's dawn in the Dolomites. Welcome to the final evening of our second part in the Dolomites. There's only one place we really could have gone, and it's here, the Tre Cime. It's one of the most iconic views of the Dolomites, and it just has to be done if you come to this area of Italy. It's not that far of a walk. If you go from over this way or this way, it's probably 45 minutes or so before you get a kind of a view that I've got behind me. It's not too long, it's not too hard, it's quite flat. So I wanted to do it with my wife just to see how easy it was to be able to do it, and if people could manage it if I brought a group here with another photographer. I think the answer to that is yes. It does, of course, depend on any snowfall that's around. There has been a little bit, but there's not too much. But at the end of the day, as I said, if you're coming here, you really must do the Tre Cime. This is the last morning of the trip to the Dolomites in autumn 2017. I've got up this morning and driven to the town of Cortina, to a viewpoint that I know that overlooks the town, as well as you can see behind me the gorgeous mountain backdrop. Dawn has kind of been and gone. It was a nice pinky rose colour up in the sky, so I've got that, very happy with that. I've been doing a couple of panos as well, a couple of panoramas, because it just begs to be photographed as a panorama up here. The view is just superb. So as I'm talking about panoramas, I'll just give you an idea of what it is that I do to kind of get an idea of whether a panorama works for me or not. So I'll just show you that. This is the view across Cortina. As you can see, it is absolutely stunning. The autumn colours, the mountain backdrop, and as I said, if you're a lover of panoramas, then this is the place to come. So how do I work out a panorama? Very quick and simple device is this. So all I do is I just frame it up, and I just think, okay, where does this work as a panorama? Maybe something like that. I just come out. But you can basically see just by doing this, so this is like wide angle, telephoto, and you can just start working around and seeing where your panoramas are. Very quick, simple, easy device for doing a panorama of this place. So that's it for the second part of our trip to the Dolomites in northern Italy. So once again, thank you to all of those that have subscribed since the beginning of my channel, and also for all of those new subscribers that are just coming across this. It's really appreciated that people are coming along and liking what it is that I do, and seeing how it is that I work as a travel photographer. As mentioned many times during these two videos from the Dolomites, this is being done specifically for the purpose to work on a workshop and tour of the Dolomites in 2018. So I will be speaking to a photographer in the next couple of weeks or so about how it is that we go about doing that, how we arrange it, where we stay, all of those kind of things. So I have a wealth of knowledge that's been garnered over the last 8 days or so from here in the Dolomites. So until next time, I'll see you soon.